This is Coffee with God, and I am Father Jose. Let us begin this day with the Word of God and a short reflection.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John, chapter 8, verses 31 to 47. The passage is taken from the Message version of the Bible. Then Jesus turned to the Jews who had claimed to believe in him. "If you stick with this, living out what I tell you, you are my disciples for sure. Then you will experience for yourself the truth, and the truth will free you." Surprised, they said, "But we're descendants of Abraham. We've never been slaves to anyone. How can you say, 'The truth will free you'?" Jesus said, "I tell you most solemnly that anyone who chooses a life of sin is trapped in a dead-end life and is, in fact, a slave. A slave can't come and go at will. The Son, though, has an established position, the run of the house. So if the Son sets you free, you are free through and through. I know you are Abraham's descendants, but I also know that you are trying to kill me because my message hasn't yet penetrated your thick skulls. I'm talking about things I have seen while keeping company with the Father, and you just go on doing what you have heard from your father." They were indignant. "Our father is Abraham." Jesus said, "If you were Abraham's children, you would have been doing the things Abraham did. And yet, here you are trying to kill me, a man who has spoken to you the truth he got straight from God. Abraham never did that sort of thing. You persist in repeating the works of your father." They said, "We're not bastards. We have a legitimate father, the one and only God." "If God were your father," Jesus said, "you would love me, for I came from God and arrived here. I didn't come on my own. He sent me. Why can't you understand one word I say? Here's why. You can't handle it. You're from your father, the devil, and all you want to do is please him. He was a killer from the very start. He couldn't stand the truth because there wasn't a shred of truth in him. When the liar speaks, he makes it up out of his lying nature and fills the world with lies. I arrive on the scene, tell you the plain truth, and you refuse to have a thing to do with me. Can any one of you convict me of a single misleading word, a single sinful act? But if I'm telling the truth, why don't you believe me? Anyone on God's side listens to God's words. This is why you're not listening, because you're not on God's side." The Gospel of the Lord.
Reflections on the Holy Gospel according to St. John chapter 8, verses 31 to 42. Faith is only genuine once it touches our attitudes and above all our concrete choices. To remain in the Word of Christ means conforming our lives to His life and virtues. The words of the Gospel imply that there are true and false disciples. There is only one way to tell the difference: whether one embraces His Word as an ideal or as a rule of life. The false security that Jesus claims on being descendant from Abraham could find its parallel in us Christians who are content with our optimism and our religious practices. Many in the church today take pride in claiming their Catholic faith and say, "We have been Catholics for many generations, and we grew up in strong Catholic traditions." Ironically, we fight among ourselves to defend our traditions while leaving the Word of God stranded in our bookshelves and pulpits of the churches. Perhaps in our sincere desire and earnest efforts to remain faithful to the centuries-old traditions, we forgot to remain with the Word of God. We have become Christians not because of any of our merits. We go to church every day or every week not because we are any better than others. Like anyone else, we are also chained by sin. but we believe in the Lord who forgives and sets us free. Every Christian is on a mission to forgive and love. Christians should take pride not in their centuries-old customs and traditions, but in God's forgiveness and mercy. We should be able to repeat to ourselves, I have been forgiven, I will forgive, and will be an instrument of reconciliation. Only a person who suffered injuries can understand with empathy the wounds of those around him. A person who acknowledges and owns up to his failures can better accompany people with their weaknesses without being judgmental. My shortcomings and failures help me to put aside my ego and give Jesus the center stage who can set me free. Pope Francis tells us that the knowledge that we are wounded sets us free from becoming self-referential and thinking of ourselves as superior to others. The people with whom we interact and live do not expect us to be superheroes. They expect us to be companions with all the weaknesses and limitations. Wounded soldiers become bolder. Wounded Christians become more loving. We say yes to the Lord at the start of the day and every moment of our lives. Here I am, Lord, sinful yet loving, wounded yet willing to serve.